they're going to have today.
Then why don't they do it?
Yeah, why don't they do it? Because they're spinning it on a light rail or a speed rail, or they're spinning it on. They're not spinning it on roads. They're not spinning it on education. What the hell are they spending it on? Well, I'll tell you what, I remember when I was a young man when California had a part-time legislature, and they received $16,000 a year as a part-time legislator. Whether you were in the Assembly or you were in the Senate, the state, you made $16,000 a year. At that time, we had the finest roads, the finest educational opportunities. Business was booming in California. And now we have a full-time legislature, and California is going to hell in a handbasket. Most people can't afford to live here, certainly can't afford to retire here. And they don't even have the foresight to understand that we live in a desert and we might need some water.
Well, I don't know what you expect there, Bob. I really don't. I really don't know what you expect. It doesn't happen overnight.
No, it hasn't happened overnight, and it's been something that they just refuse to look at, Joe. And so if you look at the legislature of California, the legislature in Washington, D.C. doesn't operate any better. They're just dysfunctional. They have their own agenda, and it does not include representing the people that they're supposed to protect, that elected them and put them into office.
Well, that's a sad critique that you got right there. Wow. So, Bob, we got to take another break, the last one, until we say our fond goodbyes for another couple days. So let me get this out of the way, and we'll come right back. Joe Hakos, Bob Cardoza, and Robert Cardoza Live here on the Conservative Syndicate. We'll be right back.
You can catch all our show archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoza. Bob is a noted financial expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known and syndicated show, Robert Cardoza Live, every Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time, firsthand, from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Bob airs live every Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on blogtalkradio.com/Robert Cardoza Live, or you can choose any one of his archive shows at blogtalkradio.com/Robert Cardoza Live. That's blogtalkradio.com/Robert Cardoza Live. For complete and honest commentary on politics, finances, and culture, check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
All right, welcome back from our final break for the night here on the Conservative Syndicate with Robert Cardoza from Robert Cardoza Live. Bob, I just wanted to get that last one in there, brother, so we can give you plenty of time to talk about the things you need to talk about right now.
Well, Joe, I just love hearing my own name on the air, so that works out great anyhow.
I knew that.
So we were talking about California water, and I have some exciting, because I want to leave this on a positive note.
Cool.
Well, actually, everything I've said was positive.
Yeah, you were positive about it.
It wasn't negative. It was things that can be done, certainly can be done. But here's something interesting for you, Joe, and it stays in that water area. In Portugal right now, they have these pilot projects that they're using for energy, for electric energy.
Okay.
And what they're doing is they're building these plants. They almost look like partially submerged submarines, and they put them about 12 miles out into the ocean, so you cannot see them from the beaches. You get to maintain your pristine beaches and things. And these things actually create about 1,000 times more power than the hydroelectric plants do that are in dams today. Now, what we are starting to experiment with them here in California, and it has been determined that they can put enough of these things spaced out, you wouldn't see them, they wouldn't ruin the views or the pristine beaches or anything we have. They work on these currents in the ocean, and basically it produces 1,000 times more than hydroelectric power, and they can put enough just along California that they can provide 100% of the power necessary to power up 250 million homes. We don't have 250 million homes in the United States.
Wow, then we could probably sell some of that somewhere else.
I would think. I would think. So, I mean, that's an exciting thing. If you think about the technology and things that we have today, that's exciting, and that's going to bring me full circle around to education, because I am so disappointed. We've got probably the best universities in the world here in the United States, but the education we're providing for our own kids, the ones that are in preschool and grammar school and high school, middle schools, those kinds of things, is sadly lacking. When we rank 26th in the world when it comes to that kind of education, it makes you wonder how we could possibly be the strongest, richest nation on earth. And so you sit here and I think about, and I'm getting ready to talk about STEM education and the necessity for it, because we no longer manufacture anything. We're a consumer nation. We do invent things, though, and we're the computer nerds, and we're the guys that put forth all this new technology, even though a lot of it's stolen from us. We don't really manufacture anything anymore because we can't compete with those low labor prices that they have in Asia and Mexico and the different markets. So what we need to do is we have to recognize that, and we need to encourage a STEM education. And STEM being science, technology, engineering, mathematics, those are the things that we have to concentrate on. And for some reason, we've gotten away from it. But if we don't get those innovators, those visionaries like Steve Jobs or Bill Gates, or you look at a Warren Buffett, and the guy you might think of him as an old codger, but he's a smart son of a gun. Nobody can figure out how he can figure out what's going on in the marketplace. It's all because of brain power. It's all because of education. And this country has to start to set the seeds to nourish these young people to get a good education. And we can only do that if we actually get rid of this tenure system that we have and say, okay, teacher, you either do your job or if you don't. If you do your job, we're going to reward you properly. And if you don't, we're going to fire you.
Well, Bob, you know who's going to fight you on that?
Teachers.
Yeah, specifically their union.
Yeah, teachers. You know why they're teachers? They're not teachers because they want to educate anybody. They're teachers because they want to work 9 months out of the year. They want to get paid for 12. They make they complain about their living, but they make a really decent living once they've been a teacher for a while. And you know what? They want to be off at 3 o'clock, and they want to be off weekends, and they want to be off holidays, and they want to be off for the spring breaks, and they want to be, all these things.
But the really good teachers aren't that way because they're not off at 3 o'clock. They're there much longer than that. So
I'm talking about the exception other than the rule.
Yes.
And they're getting a bad name. But those good teachers you're talking about, they need to make more money.
Yes, they should.
And get bonuses because of what they achieve for our students, the future of our country.
You know who takes that money from them? The administrators.
Yeah.
Those are the people that. There needs to be less. There's probably more administrators in a lot of these schools than there are teachers.
Well, it's back into politics again, Joe. If you think about the California lottery, the California lottery was supposed to go to schools.
Yeah, it's the same for Florida.
To offset all these expenses, right?
Yes, exactly.
So what did the school district do? They cut their budget. They cut their budget because the lottery is paying for the stuff.
Well, I mean. If you were running the business, that's what you would do.
Yeah, except that that's not what the law.
I know, but exactly. But still, that's what you would do.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that you're in Florida.
Yeah, Well,
I should have maintained my conversation about retirees, right?
Well, we do have some advantages here. One being no state tax.
Oh yeah.
So and that could be why people gravitate here to Florida to retire.
Of course.
We got plenty of sunshine, just like you do.
Well, yeah, you know what? Here's retiring in California. California is probably one of the most expensive lifestyles you can have.
Yes, I remember being there.
Yeah, it's an expensive state to live in, and to retire here, you've got to be, really lucky. Most people that are reaching retirement in California are looking to move either to Arizona or to Texas, maybe Nevada, or some of the, or Tennessee. Some of these Florida, the no tax states.
Yes.
Go to Washington,
Texas,
because they've got to watch out where it's going and go to more friendly states. And California is not one. It's not friendly to retirees. It's not friendly to its citizens, and it's certainly not friendly to businesses.
Yeah, well, it'd be nice to kind of change those kind of things. I pray for you out there. I mean, I left California, and it's like I remember how it was just in the taxes, the fees, everything. It was like, oh my goodness, how? And it was just. And I left. It was the mid '90s.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine what it is now. Hey, Bob, we're coming up on the end of all this fun that we're having right now. So I want to give you all the opportunities, because you're not just doing our show. You've got a lot of other irons in the fire, and so I just want to give you that opportunity, brother.
Well, you know what? I am on a lot of different radio shows, a lot of different networks. I'm excited about being here with John. And then, of course, we're all on Roar 1776. There's a lot of things going through with that. But the big thing is that all of my shows, I broadcast them live, and I do it from 4 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday Pacific time. And you know what? You can go to my website at robertcardozalive.com, and you can listen to my shows live right from there. I'm in so many places, it's hard to tell you which ones to tune into.
And it's probably a good thing you're doing it, because that's the rush hour there. The traffic time is probably pretty high right about then, huh? Oh
yeah, that's peak traffic time.
So that's a good time to catch up with Bob on the radio. Yeah.
So Joe, this has been terrific. I've really enjoyed being with you. When is John coming back?
I hope soon.
Well, I'll tell you what, I this is refreshing. Usually I don't get to talk to you too much while we're on the air. John kind of runs the show, and every once in a while, if I ask you a direct question, I get to talk to you. But other than that, it's sort of like you're doing stuff in the background.
No, I'm just a lot of times I'm trying to make sure that John, I'll be typing to him and go, John, you should probably go to a commercial if you want to have someone pay the bill. So John will be here. He's supposed to be back next week, so hopefully we'll be on a regularly scheduled kind of deal.
Sounds good. Hey, Joe, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. I look forward to it every week, and I look forward to talking to you every week, too.
Well, thanks, Bob. I appreciate it. It's been fun. I'm glad you were able to come on, and hopefully our audience got some, and you have enlightened them a little bit, maybe pushed a little button here or there so they can go out and maybe, hey, wake some of these people up, huh?
I hope I made them mad.
Well, not too crazy, I hope. All right, brother, we got to get on out of here. So, Bob, we'll catch you on next week sometime.
Hey, sounds great, Joe. Have a good evening.
You too, sir. All right, folks. Robert Cardozo Live here. We're going to wrap this up for this week, actually, here on the Conservative Syndicate. John will be back with us next week, and hopefully he'll be all refreshed and tell us all about it. So, again, thank you once again for being here. You can catch all the archives about an hour from now, and we'll be able to get them and give them and share them with your friends and even maybe a few of your enemies. And remember, like John says, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down, folks. It's how many times you get back up. So we'll see you next time here from the Conservative Syndicate.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Conservative Syndicate, the globally syndicated, politically incorrect talk show that seeks to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state. We want to make you aware you can find and access all of our show archives at our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, as well as our broadcast stations and times. That's the conservativesyndicate.net. We so appreciate you taking time to tune in, and we so look forward to continuing to bring you